Hello, hello, and we're back with Law by Barry this week, and we got a very special guest today on Law by Barry. We have the Tea Party of Nevada U.S. Senate candidate Scott Ashton here today, and we'll be asking all kinds of questions, and later on we'll be opening up the phone lines for him. So give him a hand. It's Scott Ashton's here, and we also have Art Torres.
I'm always here.
Yeah.
I'm always
He's
here.
not late today.
I'm not late. I'm early. I'm sitting next to somebody very important, so we got to pay attention.
And we got the lovely Brandy.
I'm back,
yes,
as always.
She's looking awesome, too, today.
Thanks, Art.
Welcome.
Okay, well, why don't you say hello to our listeners?
Hello, listeners.
That was good.
ScottAshtonForSenate.com.
Okay. All right, there's some questions that I've been dying to ask you, okay? You're running for U.S. Senate. Why are you running for U.S. Senate?
I'm running for U.S. Senate because I believe in America. I'm a patriot. I believe that Americans are fed up with the current system, the current political situation. It's the disconnect with Washington. I believe that Barack Obama, Nancy Pelosi, Harry Reid specifically are taking this country in the wrong direction. I believe in balanced budgets. I believe in that we shouldn't be loaning money to countries that we don't have, that we're borrowing anyways. And I believe in America. I mean, I'm a father, I'm a husband, and I'm a person that believes that America is the greatest country on earth.
Okay, I agree with you there. America is the greatest country on earth, and you know, as being an attorney, I mean, I'm seeing more bankruptcies than I've ever seen in my entire life. And I grew up here, and I can't believe what's going on. Now, what line of business were you in?
I've had several businesses over the years. I started at a very young age, 13 years old. We've done things from washing windows to janitorial services to car washes to construction businesses.
All right, so you were in the construction business.
Yes.
What is that, like dead now?
The real problem with the construction business is that there's no construction out there. There's no jobs out there. I think that the people in Nevada want jobs.
Well, we were the fastest growing city in America. I mean, what do you think happened?
I think that you can't put so much pressure on a small business, whether it's a developer, whether it's a local business, whether it's an attorney or a doctor. The blame needs to stop. I really think that what needs to happen is we need to give small business tax credits. We need to give them opportunities to employ people. We need to lower taxes. We need to really engage people and get them back to work. I think that's the number one focus that needs to be done here in Nevada.
Well, so often, many times, I mean, the bailout, I understand why there was a bailout, but I think that and this is my personal view, and I don't know if it is yours or not, but the bailout that they had, they just bailed them out, and there was no strings attached to the money. And now what we've got, and I've seen it all the time, we gave like $130-something billion to like Bank of America, and they're not working with people out there. What would you do, to get these banks to start working with the Americans?
Well, first of all, I wouldn't have voted for a stimulus package. I don't believe in that. I think that it didn't work. I think that I agree with you that it went to the big banks. It did not filter down to the smaller banks or the community banks. I mean, we're seeing locally here banks shut down all over the place.
Yeah.
One of my opponents was on the board of a community bank. I think that the money in the stimulus package that did get put out got put out to the big boys, and they cut it up, and it never went anywhere. It went to offset some budgets, but it never got put in the hands of people. Speaking of construction, I mean, I know personally they've cut credit lines.
Yeah, that's what I was going to get to. Like, I've had lots of businesses, and it wasn't that have come into me that were just normal business owners that cut their credit line off entirely, and they had like 3 or 4 restaurants, and they couldn't buy their supplies anymore, so they had to go bankrupt.
Well, what's happened is they not only have they cut the credit lines and not renewed the credit lines, but they've cut credit cards. And their theory
that's happened to that's happened to a lot of people. Me, I mean, for no reason, they cut off your credit, they dropped the credit line, so it hurts your credit even if you didn't do anything.
Well, the theory behind a credit card is this: if you pay your bills, they don't want you as a customer. What they want is you to carry a high balance, and that's how they make their money. So the 2 or 3 credit cards, for example, that I had canceled, they said that you're not supposed to pay your bill off at the end of the month. What they want you to do is pay those high interest rates. I think as a small business, when you take away that ability to borrow and to manage your payroll and to fund jobs, suppliers have cut down on time as far as how long you have to pay. They've cut down on people have strung you out longer to pay, and they know that the longer that they can string you out, the more chance they have of negotiating a lower price. The problem in this particular economy is the contractor pool is shrunk. They know it. They know people are desperate for jobs, and what's happened is they've taken any profit out of the job at all, and you have to not only take a job for basically nothing, but then you have to wait 30, 60, or 90 days to hopefully get paid. And maybe in that process, they may be one of your customers that can't.
They can't make it because they can't wait for that money.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a lot of that with the city center. I think that a lot of the people, I know for a fact that there's a lot of subcontractors that haven't been paid for their work. You know what I mean? And that they're starting to lean certain jobs.
Well, I think some of these big corporations actually go in with a business plan to renegotiate at the end of the deal their original contract. I think their plan is to get a contractor involved in the project, get him indebted to that project, and when he says that he wants his money, or per the contract to get paid, they say, well, we'll give you a certain amount on the dollar.
I think this sounds a little weird. Do you think that the contractor might actually put change orders in so that way they can actually get paid a little more money?
I don't think that people are dishonest. I don't think that in general. I think that contractors.
No, I didn't mean that. What I meant is there's change orders, and what happens is a lot of times they don't want to pay them on that either.
Well, there's all different kinds of ways of doing it. I mean, in construction, you have contracts. Contracts are written by attorneys. Attorneys write contracts. You know, they may or may not apply to that specific scope of work, and a contractor might be...
Well, you know, the same thing happened with, like, when they did the Venetian. Remember, there was just so many people that were not getting paid, and then finally they paid all the contractors 10 cents on the dollar to get that taken care of.
I have a very good friend that was part of that Venetian debacle, we'll call it, and there's a lot of contractors. I know one personally that spent his entire retirement, which was millions of dollars, trying to finish a job, and at the end of the day, their objective was to string him out long enough to where he couldn't hold on anymore. They gave him 10 cents on the dollar after he liquidated all his assets and put in his personal retirement, unloaded his 401k.
Do you think they're going to have to change the way our credit system works with all the bankruptcy filings that have been happening?
I think that there probably needs some reform. I don't know the bankruptcy laws. I've never filed for bankruptcy.
No, what I mean is you know how, like, they lower your credit limit and then that hurts your credit score? Do you think that they need some sort of change?
Absolutely. I mean, I think in Nevada, I think if everybody voted for me that had a 600 credit score and lower, I'd win by a landslide. I mean, currently the situation is that they're creating a process to fail. They're not creating in America, it's always been work hard, pay your bills, and you can succeed. There's really a separation now between the fat cats in Washington and between the normal people that are working. It's very, very difficult for families out there, and it doesn't matter which neighborhood you live in. It really doesn't matter how much money you had. It doesn't matter how many.
I know it's affecting everybody. It's affecting everybody who works from Walmart to multi-million who were multimillionaires. They're all coming into my office, and it's affecting everybody.
Well, I mean, you know,
across the board.
When a house that they bought for, we're going to use the example of $1 million, but just because it's a round number, is now worth $400,000, and they put 20% down, and now they owe $800,000 on a $400,000 house. How do you expect a person to recoup from that? How many years does that take?